everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beer with a Business. There's nobody here yet. I'm also a business owner, so Beer with a Business Owner. We are, I think, episode 4. We're on episode 4. This one, I'm really excited about our guest. We have a lot in common. 2, I'm really excited that this is going to be the first episode that we do not have a technical issue. There's going to be no camera. I'm putting it out into the world right now. There's going to be no camera issues. We're not going to be out of focus like the last one. It's not going to stop in the middle and then you're going to be like, whoa, what happened? No, we've got it figured out this time. I brought an assistant. Thank you, Hannah Howard. Yeah, it's going to be great. So very excited. We're at Contrary again. I'm sure you recognize the surroundings. I do because I was here last night. Anyways, enough about me. I'm going to introduce somebody. Her name's Sarah Siler. You might have heard of her. You might have had some pictures taken by her. And come on down, Sarah. Out of the crowd.
Hello, friend.
Hello. And here is your blueberry lemonade avalanche.
Thank you.
That you ordered
Yes.
previous to the show. Are you excited to be here?
I'm nervous.
Okay, you're
Yes.
nervous. You're nervous because it's so.
We're on
because
the other
yeah.
side of the camera,
Yeah,
and now
which
she's
is
in front of
weird.
it. So
Which is weird. Yeah, with all these legit equipment,
Mhm.
microphones that work, our ring light,
yes,
camera on a tripod that doesn't hold the camera. That's why there's a bunch of towels under it. Yeah, I mean it's really legit. We try and do things super legit here. Cool. So your name is Sarah Siler.
it is.
Let's tell people what's your business. You're the business owner.
I own and operate Siler Photography here in town. This is my 13th year.
13.
13, yeah. Lucky 13.
Wow. That's exciting. So the way I like to do things here is we're going to play a game. We're going to shake things up a little bit, get the heebie-jeebies out, okay?
Okay.
So that we can just have a conversation. Have you ever played the game Scribblehead?
No.
Okay. So this is how it works. Okay? So you put this on your head. Feel free to share this with me, okay? Because I don't have lice, I promise. I'm going to pick a card and it's going to tell me what to draw. So I got a roll. It says 2. You guys will know on the screen what 2 is. So yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to draw something. You're going to tell me what it is. I'm going to feel my surface area.
Car. Skateboard.
Yes! Skateboard! Oh my god! Okay, wait, that's actually really
That is
good.
really good.
Okay, that one's really good. I'm gonna get a towel to wipe this off. Thank you, Contrary, for donating a towel that I'm about to use with my expo marker. I'm excited. I love this game. My mom and I play this a lot. Okay, I'm ready. Feel the surface area. Get a feel for it. Okay, it's a shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, we might be really good at this. Okay, it's really good. Okay. A tongue?
Yes.
It looks like a butt.
I was gonna say it was butt crack.
But I was like, I'm gonna go with the safe choice because it is like an ages 7 and up game.
a light stop.
Yes! Okay, we're too good at this. You know, one thing I will say about Contrary, one, I love their beer. I love this like mug thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain ones that come in this mug, and I found that, and so I'll order them now because it's like,
Comes in the mug.
it's just like I'm, just an old Irishman, just hanging out and drinking my beer. You're a full-time photographer, right?
Yes.
All right. Where does the idea come from?
So,
Did you know forever?
No.
Give me the backstory.
Out of high school, I was supposed to be a graphic design major. And,
So still in the artist field.
yeah, and then I ended up, and I didn't finish college because I'm like, it's not for me,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm like, I don't want to sit at a computer all day. And what's 50%, 95% of my job?
Oh yeah,
is
for
sitting
sure.
at
I was gonna say very ironic.
And so after that, I had multiple jobs, doing different things. And then I'm also a certified or registered dental assistant. So I did dental assisting for a long time. And I did that part-time and photography part-time. But I went to a friend's wedding and her photographer was awful. And I'm just like, ugh. And so,
as a photographer, or as like the pictures turn out awful too?
both.
Yeah.
Because at that time I didn't know much about photography.
Right.
This was 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
The photographer, I asked if they wanted an assistant, like editing, weddings and stuff like that. So I did that, very basic. And then I bought my first camera, and I didn't know anything about photography. Oh, I got a camera. I'm a photographer. Let me take a picture.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of people do.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I will just leave it at that. And then I just slowly taught myself. I've taken online classes, in-person workshops. I try to do one in-person mentoring workshop a year, just because you have to have, you get writer's block, and it's nice to learn new things and bring new things. You have to invest in your business to be able to make money.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I did it part-time for a long time, and then about 6-7 years ago, I decided to take the plunge. And
Yeah.
I quit my full-time job at the University of Iowa and did it full-time. But I also did work, another plug, at Arctic Dental for 1 day a week just to keep my certification back.
Yeah. Very cool.
And I was pregnant with my second child, went on maternity leave, went to go back, pandemic hit, wasn't ready to go back because of the unknowns. And so
You're like, great, there's a
Yeah.
pandemic. Let me get in this person's mouth.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
And so a year and a half later, they asked me to come back, and so I did. And while I loved working there, I enjoyed the environment. It just, my heart wasn't there anymore. So I just decided to be done with that. So 100% Siler photography.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you love it so
do.
much?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its days. Some days are more frustrating than others. But I love meeting new people. I love making that connection with people. I feel like when people come to me, I'm not just your photographer. Like, I feel like I become friends with a lot of them. And a lot of, like, say my newborn sessions, they come in, they look into my milestone package that I have. And at the end of that year, when the year is up, I'm like, it's like a bad breakup because I don't see them every 3 months anymore. But usually after that, they come in for 18 months to 2 years, and then it's yearly or the mini sessions I offer.
That's so exciting. I think one of the coolest things, like, just going off of that, is like being able to, you're in an industry where you get to grow with your clients, right? And like, I was swaddling you, putting a cute little funny hat on.
Right, exactly.
And you had nothing to say about it.
Right.
Now you do.
Right.
And you don't want to wear that hat.
Right, exactly. I've got an opinion.
So let's talk about the jump to full-time. Like, that had to be scary, and I feel like, we've talked about it in other episodes too, but people taking their, like, passion and their hobby and their side hustle, right? Because side hustles have become such a big thing, right? Which is awesome. And then people keep their full-time job, right? And I'm one of those people. You keep your full-time job for the security of it, right? And I love my job. I get fulfillment from that as well. So I'm not ready to do full-time. But I think a lot of people that do have this kind of side hustle, or I make t-shirts, or I do whatever it is, jumping for that to full-time doesn't feel possible for a lot of people. So I think it's, one, amazing that you did that. And obviously your success shows, right? But kind of talk about, I don't know, maybe even the goods and bads of that, right? Like the fear, the good,
The motto that I go by is, if you don't try, you don't know. The worst case scenario, I mean, at least I have something to fall back on. I can always go back to the devil. It's not, but I'm like, if I don't try it, I don't know, and I just wanted to be able to have my own schedule and make my, live my life the way I want it, but
especially with having kids.
Exactly. And I never wanted kids. And so when that changed, then I couldn't work at the university anymore because the drive was just too long and stuff. And so, and like I said, if you don't try, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's goods and bads of everything, right? I mean, there's goods and bads of staying in the full-time job world and working until you can retire, and then being like, okay, now it's time for me to have a lake house or a house in Florida now that I'm 70 years old, and but there's also so many pros and cons of going full-time, right?
There is, like, I don't have, like, luckily I have a husband that has health insurance, but that's why I stayed at my full-time job for so long, was because I carried health insurance benefits because they were amazing.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so
Yeah.
my husband took over that aspect of it. Another con is like, you don't have 401k or a Roth IRA. You have to do that all on your own. You don't have short-term disability. So when you have a baby, you don't get paid time off unless you plan for it and you save for it. You know, Social Security, you have to pay into that separately if you want that aspect of it. I mean, I didn't have a lot of those things until I went full-time, like not full-time completely, but you know, a couple of years ago, because I knew it was important that I still want to be able to retire. I don't want to, I love you guys, but I don't want to be doing this till I'm 90.
The people are bringing their babies into the nursing home. And the pictures are so blurry and horrible. And at that time, I mean, our camera's even going to exist.
Right. Probably not.
Probably not. Weddings are going to be taken on an iPhone.
Right.
The iPhone 30,000, whatever. They coming out at a rapid pace.
That's true.
It's ridiculous. Well, either way, I mean, I think, like I said, I think those logistics things that you don't have to think about, that you just assume, you know, come with every job, of the insurance, the social, like all of those things, right? That somebody on the back end did and somebody set up, right? Because the likelihood that I'm going to go and like set up a 401k on my own when I can't even find the connection to this microphone is slim, right? But it's important.
It is.
And if you want to prioritize your passion and loving what you do forever and being fulfilled and all of the cons, the pros, not just the cons. I put them together. That happens to me a lot. The pros that come with that too, right? I mean, those things, although you don't necessarily want to know how to run QuickBooks, you don't necessarily want to be your own accountant, you don't necessarily want to do all those things, right? You have to, because there's give and take just with anything, right? We just made a post for Startup Muscatine that was like, it was something like, wouldn't you rather look back and say, look what I did, than look back and say, I wish I would have done, right? I don't want people, you know, in our area or anywhere to look back and be like, I wish I would have done, right? And there's so much opportunity in our community to be able to live your dream, and have the backing of a small town behind you too. Yeah. And I feel like that's, you know, a huge part of it is, well, like, especially in this industry, right? And I'm sure, obviously, you know this, and I've known this for 13 years, is it's not guaranteed, right? I mean,
we're a luxury service, you know? That's why it's so important if you book a session to show up to your session or follow through with it.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
If you book a session, come to your session, follow through with it, please. Thank you.
Yes.
I've cleaned up.
Aisle 5, yes. Can I get out here with the mop? No.
If you don't come to your session or you cancel last minute, that would be no different than a 9 to 5 going to work and being like, you're going to go to work today, but I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's how I feed my family. That's how I pay my bills. I have a studio before, I have a house to pay for, you know.
Right.
That's why I work, to have those things, you know. So you're just taking away from my family. So.
Yeah. You're scheduling these things out so far in advance. Like, I know I have pictures scheduled, I mean, at least wedding wise, until next year, right? And I mean, you cancel on that. I've already said no to other people for that date, and I won't be getting paid for that now, right?
Right.
And I think that is one thing that you know, I mean, things do happen, right? I've had people where...
Yeah, I'm completely sympathetic if you're sick or you wake up and you have a fever or whatever. Like, I'm 100%, because I don't want you in my studio, and I don't want you sick. I don't want to get sick. My kids are sick, and I'm like, get away from me. Don't touch me. Go talk to your dad.
Yep.
But it's just... You know, I have a flexible schedule to a certain extent. And like you said, you book out, like right now, today I announced my fall mini session days for prior clients that booked last year, and they're like flying off like hotcakes, and I'm not going to be able to offer very many to the public. Yeah. But it's like, you're pre-planning, you know, this is 7 months from now. I know I'm crazy, but I'm a planner. But it's like, you're making this commitment, so you need to follow through with it, you know? So I'm a hand talker, I'm sorry.
I am too.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm sure when you started, you were like, I'm going to be able to do all these different services, and I'm going to say yes to everybody. And now you're kind of getting to choose what you want.
Like, I don't do, this year is the first year that I don't do weddings anymore. So when I first started off, I did like 30 a year. I didn't have kids. I had time to do 30 a year. I had a wife. Yeah. Right. And I just learned that weddings are not something that trips my trigger. It's just, I want to shoot what I love. I love babies, kids, families, and seniors. So that's what I do.
And you do a good job at it.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do?
Newborns.
You do such a good job at it. I think one thing, again, going back to once you're able at that point to kind of pick and choose what you want to do, it shows, right? It shows how much you love what you do. Okay, so what's your favorite part, I guess, about being a business owner in Muscatine, our community? Like, I know you're very involved. So tell me a little bit about that, right?
So I like that there's other platforms like Little Miss Fruitland. I'm a sponsor for them, and so I, sponsor them and do their headshots. Also that, some of my clients have certain foundations and things like that, which they have started off as clients. Like my best friend, Lisa Wolf, started off as a wedding client, and she was my assistant and helped me carry bags and lightings for weddings and stuff afterwards. And so it was nice to have like that other person there to talk to during the wedding day, because wedding days are long, you know? So we became really good friends. We're best friends. And then unfortunately in 2019, her 3-month-old baby boy passed away due to unsafe sleep practice. And we started the Theo Wolf Foundation, which I'm vice president of, and we promote and really try to get out there the importance of safe sleep. It's gonna make me cry. It's just really important to us to spread the word to the community that, survivorship bias is so prevalent. People are like, oh, well, my baby slept in at night. It's totally like, my baby's still here. Well, you're lucky your baby's still here, And so we started the foundation and we raise money. We have an event every first Saturday in June. It's held at the Susan Clark Junior High, thank you. And we raise funds to be able to provide for free safe sleep kits to anybody, and it's for anybody. We have some overseas right now. I think we're close to 200 that
That's amazing.
Given out. It's a canvas tote with our foundation logo on it. There's a pacifier, a pack pacifier, a bracelet that I have on, a pen, a magnet, a big packet full of safe sleep information for not only you and yourself, but for providers, for grandparents, and then also in there is a Halo sleep sack. So when they're ready to transition to not having their arms swaddled, they can use the safe sleep sack. And I give those out at every newborn session that comes in, so it's free to them.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
That's so amazing. Yeah, and I follow the Theo Wolf Foundation on everything, right? And although I'm not a mom myself, right? I've never had a baby. I wouldn't know where to begin, right? And I'm sure a bunch of people don't, right?
They don't.
But those practices and those stories and the knowledge, right? The teaching is, I think, the biggest part of what you guys do. The awareness.
Yes.
Awareness. I'm like, it's gonna come to me. It's gonna come. The awareness part, right? Because like you said, a lot of people don't know, right? I wouldn't know the first thing, but I've learned so much, not even being a mom, not even needing to necessarily know that for my personal life, all of these things, right? And all of these best practices. There was a recall on this. Here's why, right? All of the knowledge that gets put out by you guys is so phenomenal. And I think it's so cool how it pairs well into not only a cause and a person and a family, that it was, very tragic what happened, but that you can find something positive out of that and hopes that would never happen to anybody else. But also in pair that you are a newborn photographer, right? And you get to interact with all of these people, and what a perfect person to be able to be involved with this organization, right? Because you go, I know a lot of people that have babies, right?
I have Theo's picture hanging up in my studio, and I always get like, who's that? And I'm like, that's baby Theo. And I talk about baby Theo, and of course I start crying because it's an emotional thing. I mean,
like you said, going back to like the community as a whole, being able to, again, be to the point where you're at in your profession, where you did go full time, you did take these chances, and if you don't do it, if you don't try, you won't know, right? That you are able to sponsor things that you care about and utilize your profession to help out in those different ways, whether it be with Theowolf Foundation or whether it be Little Miss Fruitland and being able to do those headshots, which I'm sure are super fun, right? Are they? Are these girls
They're
little
fun.
squirrely, like
Yeah.
attitude?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I used to watch Toddlers and Tiaras. I know it's not near to that extent.
No.
Because those girls, I don't know where those girls ended up, but
Well, wasn't one JoJo Siwa?
oh, was she
Wasn't she a Toddlers and Tiara?
full circle? Probably.
Or was that cheerleading show?
I'll be honest, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If that's accurate information. If not, we might be spreading inaccurate information. But is anybody going to fact check it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're watching a YouTube show of two girls drinking beer and talking about business. So the likelihood that you have a lot of care about the historical factualness of JoJo Siwa's come up story is
Yes.
cheers. Cheers to that. I cheers with this one. I did this. Cheers instead of cheers. It's fine. I think it's just maybe been a long day. Has it been a long day for you?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
I can set my own schedule.
Yeah.
And be available when needed. Like my daughter went home sick from school the other day. You know, if I had a full-time job, not that a 9 to 5. Sorry, I would.
A traditional
It would have been
full-time job.
harder
Sarah.
to do that. Yes. I think
Okay. Offense taken. I'm
Right,
just
no.
kidding. I know.
And I mean, I can set my own prices. You know,
Yeah.
that I guess that's another frustration too. Is like people see prices, and I get everybody has a budget.
Mhm.
Completely get that. But when you're like, oh, you're too expensive. No, I'm not expensive. I'm just not in your budget.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
because I have overhead to pay for. I have
Yep.
bills to pay, just like anybody. You know, and it's not that I'm taking your money and I'm putting it in your pocket.
Yep.
Like, see you later.
Yeah.
You know,
You're like,
it's like Uncle Sam takes a good chunk of that.
Yeah.
You know, and then the cost of operation. You know, you have cameras, you have overhead, you have
Yep.
props. Everything I provide for your, I provide everything for your session. I have a whole
Yep.
giant closet. You don't even have to bring clothes to your session.
Yep.
I've got
That's
you.
amazing.
Got shopping cart.
You're like, yes, I need this. Yes.
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 So it's just, you know, prices, it's relative, you know, because what is affordable to one person is not affordable to
Yep.
the next. So
And that's with anything, right? I
Mhm.
mean, I like that change of verbiage though. Of I'm not expensive. I'm not too expensive for you. I'm not in your budget. I'm not.
Yes.
This isn't something that's in your wheelhouse. You know, but odds are there is a photographer, or, you know, another service that is in your budget, right? And
Yeah.
I think you know, just going strictly to advice for you know, the creatives and the photographers of the world. I think that's something that I struggled with a lot. Right? Was like not only am I somebody that really can't say no to people, but I also am somebody that I'm like, okay, but if this doesn't work, we'll try and find somebody who can, right? And
Right.
that's just my heart being like, I guess, what's your advice to photographers, video, like whatever the creative industry might be that they're in, on pricing yourself accordingly and feeling confident in that, right? Because a lot of people feel like don't want to overprice themselves. But if this is what you feel like you're worth and that's what you need to,
Mhm.
you know, have, and you have the experience, I think that's where imposter syndrome comes in a little bit of like, well, but am I worth what they're paying?
Right. You just have to find what works for you. Because there's so many times where, you know, other photographers will be like, Sarah, you need to raise your prices, or you need to go IPS, in-person sales. And I'm like, I don't want to do in-person sales. I don't want to sit there and try to sell you a
No.
print or a can. Like, that's just not me. If that works for you, that's
Yep.
great. You know, congratulations. But that's just not what I want to do with my clientele. I feel like I could charge more, but I hate talking money.
I do too.
hate it.
I do too. I'm like,
You know, 'cause-
write down the figure and then I'm like,
yeah, here you go. I mean,
if it
it's
doesn't
like,
work, let me know.
right? And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I have contracts and stuff, and all the information is in there,
Yeah.
but it comes to the day of the session too. And people are like, how much do I owe you? And I'm like,
I know, you're like, well, let's look.
it just
Can you
makes-
look back in your messages.
and
Like,
I don't
you
like
have-
to verbally say
I don't
it.
either.
So I'm like,
I don't either. I do
I'm
the
like,
exact
I'm just
same
like,
thing.
this is your total, you know?
That's exactly what I do.
Or when people,
Mhm.
they'll be leaving and they'll forget to pay because, like, you know, I get it. You're the hustle and bustle. And I'm like,
No.
so, you just send you an invoice? Do you want to
I'm
write
the same way.
You know?
I'm
So
literally
it's just
the same
really
way.
weird, you know? But,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I'm the same way.
I just say, price yourself to, you do you.
Yeah,
Who cares what other people think?
exactly. right now I'm kind of the catch-all.
Yeah.
I think that having things other than weddings is super nice for me because it's a break. Because one thing that's hard is, and you know, when I think people don't get the pricing thing, it's because they don't see how much goes into it, right? Because you have to edit those. There's so much time that is packed into this industry. It's the same thing of, you know, I was talking to a videographer the other day, and he said, he's like, you know, I feel bad. This client keeps asking, you know, when is my video gonna be? You know how long that takes? You got married yesterday, right? Like, it's the same thing with wedding photos. I feel like my turnaround time's okay, but I'm like, do you realize it's not just your 20 portraits that you're gonna have printed out in your house? It's like, mom, zipping up your dress, your hair getting halfway done, and you don't even use that,
Right?
And you kind of look like crap, like.
And
like
you don't just
halfway
sit down
done.
and go
No.
start to finish with a gallery,
Yeah.
edit some, and then you have another client, or
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
And you know,
And it gets stagnant with
Yes.
weddings too.
Yes.
Like, I love editing weddings, but I'm like, okay, I've physically seen the same two faces for like 2 weeks. Like, I need to like throw a random picture of my dog in there or something and like make it look real good.
yeah, like look at my
Doesn't take
glitter
long.
sessions this last weekend. I did
That's
those.
a lot.
I shot an abundance of them, and I try to break it up into like sets of like 3 to 5 of those mini sessions in between my other stuff that's
Yeah.
due. So it doesn't come to the due date and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to edit how many of these, and it's just monotonous, and it's like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah,
It-
that's good though.
writer's block, creativity
Yep.
block, you know. So I try to do that. So
All right, listen, this was fun.
it was fun.
Did you have a good time?
I did.
Did you get less nervous as we went on? Please don't
Yeah.
nervous. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Maybe. Eh.
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
I'm
sorry.
indifferent. I'm indifferent to be here, drinking a beer with you, playing Scribblehead that your mom brought to your office earlier today because you forgot to think of a game. Yeah. No. This was fun. So if people want to get a hold of you because they're gonna have a baby in the future, hopefully further down the road, not 3 weeks in advance.
Just kidding.
Hold on really quick. No. As me and Hannah would say, no. You know, someday,
Someday. You're young.
maybe.
You're not 40 like me.
Yeah, someday. For now, I'm very content having a Duffy's Irish Red at Contrary with you, Sarah Siler, hosting Beer with Business Owner, and just kind of doing my thing. Yeah. But if someone else, it's not Hannah either, she's also drinking beer with me, was going to want to get a hold of you, how should they do that? How should they?
Through my website.
Okay.
Which is brand new, by the way. Branding.
Yes, we went through a rebranding.
Yes,
we forgot to talk
rebrand.
about that. Let's
That's
talk about that real
okay.
quick.
New website, hired a copywriter to write all my stuff for me.
Nice.
Letters from Elliot here in town did my
We
logo.
love Amanda Elliott.
This is part of my logo. The flowers
Cute. I
all
like
represent
that.
my children, heaven and earth, and my 2 frozen embryos right there. Yeah. So my website, Sarah Siler, www.sarahsilerphotography.com. Email is the best way. If you try to call my phone, it will tell you to go to my website because I don't like talking on the phone.
I was just talking about that today.
And I am very visual, and I need it all written out.
Hannah, did I not say this at lunch today? I literally said, I was like, I gave somebody my card and I was like, my phone's on there. If you call me,
I won't answer.
I won't answer. If you leave a voicemail, I'm going to send you a text and say,
Yeah.
hey, so-and-so, I got your voicemail.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna
Unfortunately.
because I do. I forget. I hang up and I'm like, what was their name and what did they want?
And I don't like being put on the spot.
No, I don't
And like
either.
I said, I don't like talking money. I'd rather
No.
be behind the computer doing it. So that's just the easiest, is
agreed.
email. You can reach out on Facebook. You can reach out on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, but my preferred method is my website because
And-
it goes into my back-end program and puts your name and your phone number and everything in there. So
Fancy, all the things to keep you planned.
yeah, I used to
Organized.
be pen and paper person, and now I've had to like branch off into the like electronics. Yeah, that's my new age for me.
See, I'm not. I keep everything in a note on my phone, like physically the Notes app. I don't know where my phone is. The Notes app, and it just says the date with a hyphen. Hannah can attest, and whatever I have going on. It's like dentist, this type of photography
It's not on your
session.
calendar. It's in a note.
It's in a note. Okay, but how easy is it that I just open this note and I see all the dates and I'm like, nope, March 7th I can't. I have an eye appointment at 6:30 p.m. They're not even open that late, but yeah. And I mean, it's right there versus like in a,
That's just.
but again, this is one of those things where it's someday it's gonna bite me in the butt and then I'm gonna be like, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
But until then, this note's been going for a good 2 years and it works pretty well.
But I'm still pen and paper. I like have a list of like, okay, January sessions. I have the name,
Yeah.
the type of session, how they paid, how much they paid,
Mhm.
and when the session's done. I have to have all. I'm
That's
very
good.
visual. But yeah,
It's very good to be a planner
Yeah.
and they can reach out to you on their website.
Pretty organized that way. My
That's
house.
good.
Not so much.
I'm not organized in either way. My house is a mess.
Mhm. I have children that like toys and things.
Yeah. I have a dog. He likes toys,
I
but
have 2 dogs too.
it's mostly my mess. Yeah. I take clothes off and I just leave them somewhere. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool. Until somebody needs to come over and then it's like, I gotta
Throw in
clean
the
for
closet.
2 days. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Ting, ting. All right. Well, you got it here. Sarah Siler Photography. You can reach out on her website, preferably very far ahead in advance. Don't call her and be like, I had a baby a couple weeks ago. Can you take pictures of her? No, she can't. She's too busy because she.
But I will. But I will sneak you in. I will find a spot for you.
But if you
preferred.
can be ahead of time, no, I'm the exact same way. So thank you guys for watching another episode of the Beer with the Business Owner. No technical errors that I'm aware of, which is again. So you busted record juju. I was also a little bit more prepared ahead of time, and Hannah Howard came, so thanks Hannah Howard. Yeah, we're gonna finish our beer and we'll see you next time.